59-50. Not a good half of basketball, Ryan, for the Kings. They shot the ball horribly. And once again, this is indicative of what you and I and Jerry talk about so often. When the three isn't falling, this Sacramento Kings team just has no other way to beat you. Now, I'm not saying they won't win the game, but they're not going to win the game if they shoot as poorly in the second half as they did in the first half from beyond the three line.
No, they're not, Grant. And you look at the front line, you look at some of the guys that have been inconsistent. They're giving up good shots for contested three-pointers. Sabonis driving to the hole, kick out. Harrison Barnes, same thing. You got to be able to do it both ways, especially against an undermanned Phoenix team.
And again, you're getting nothing, absolutely nothing from two of your starters, all right? Kevin Huerter, 10 minutes, did not score. Harrison Barnes made a three in the final minute. That was his only basket of the half, okay? I mean, how is it that you can have two starters basically be invisible offensively? I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, at some point, Mike Brown's going to have to make changes to this lineup. You can't just keep on being behind by, 9, 10, 15, 20 points every game at halftime and come back. And here's the other deal, Ryan. There's no Kevin Durant. There's no Grayson Allen, still no Bradley Beal. This game shouldn't even be close. I mean, when you look at all of the injuries for the Suns, the Kings should be winning this game right now. Now, again, they may win at the end of the game, but this game shouldn't be 59-50 at the half.
No, not even close. And why is it up to Mike Brown, Grant? At what point is Harrison Barnes going to say enough is enough? I'm going to work. I'm going to get mine. Keegan Murray, same thing. Like these players have to do something for themselves too. But you get 3 rebounds from Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, and Kevin Huerter in the first half.
Yep.
That's the new normal.
1 of 6 Murray from downtown. He hasn't. It's like a broken record. And I said this in the last game. And again, maybe we're going to have a post-game show and we're going to be talking about a Kings win. Last year at this time, I feel, and I'm not even looking at the record now and the record last year at this time. To me, last year on December 8th, the Kings were a much better basketball team, or at least a better basketball team than they are today.
Easily, Grant. Great observation. They were on a run this time last year. They had gotten that big win off Cleveland. They were coming off of the road trip. And it's a completely different team. And, Grant, they're trying to do the right things. They're doubling Booker, but yet they're letting everybody else scramble and beat them. 6 offensive rebounds.
Terrible.
You can't let that happen.
Jay's right on. The Kings are up 47-46 with 3 minutes left in the half, and they just fell apart to finish the half. We've seen that a lot this year, where they do not play well at the end of quarters, particularly at the end of the half.
Grant, you can't fall apart if you haven't had it together the entire game.
Unbelievable. All right, what do you think about Anita talking about Sasha was in there working his tail off, give him more minutes. He's hustling out there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm all for it. You got to get a spark from somebody, and he's giving it to you tonight, yeah. Sasha, with 9 points off the bench. Keep giving him the minutes.
Serbia checking in saying this is because they don't want to play anything but three-point basketball.
Amen.
Again, when this team does not make threes, they have absolutely no other way to beat you. Jerry, it's good to have you on here. Halftime, 59-50. Not a lot of bright spots in that first half for Sacramento.
Real sloppy play, really, other than Domas and Monk. I'm not sure who played to their abilities, to be honest. Yeah, relying way too much on a three-point shot. You got to try to get more around the basket. And certainly, I really believe if Harrison's going to be out there, you got to post him up some, get him in there, drawing fouls, a few things, just get a little activity out of him. But
but honestly, you say that every game, and we agree with you, but then we don't see it. So that tells me that Mike Brown's not going to do that for Harrison Barnes, which then leads me to the next question. With his lack of productivity, game in and game out, should he even be starting?
Well, I don't think the way it is now, you can't at some point. I mean, I think it's getting there, to be honest. If in fact he's not going to be more productive, you got to move on. Obviously, Lyles would be the more logical one, or in some games you could go real small, move Herter to small forward. But right now, Kevin hasn't.
He's invisible.
Tap, so. I mean, I think too, it's a case too where this team really needs Fox to be at his best, and he has not had a good half, but he's capable of having 20 in the second half, and they're going to need that. They're really going to need that from him. But I mean, I guess too, the thing that frustrates me a little is that we're doing a good job, at least trying to do a good job on Booker. He's a great player, but boy, you're leaving Eric Gordon open an awful lot for a guy that has proven over and over for years he can really make deep shots.
He had 14 points in the first half. And then, you talk about all you want about Booker, he was 7 of 9. He had 18 points, 59-50. Jerry, I just made a point to Ryan before you came on. We always like to compare years, but if I compare this team to last year's team right now on December 8th, last year's team was significantly better than this team right now. I see a lot of red flags on this team right now.
Well, it's definitely not as good offensively as it was last year. This time it just isn't. Now, I think some of it, I really do think some of it has to do with other teams really understanding that the Kings want to, they're taking away a lot of the quick pushes after made baskets. Last year they were the best I've ever seen at doing that.
Great point.
Now you just don't see it. I mean, teams are really pressuring the inbound pass a little bit. And now all of a sudden they're having to come down and work their offense. And that's tougher for anybody being forced to play 5-on-5.
Ryan, 24 minutes of basketball left. Of course, we will be on after the game and we'll talk about it. So give me, besides making the 3 ball, which we know, what do you want to see in the second half from Sacramento?
I want to see physicality. The Kings have the advantage physically. They're not setting good screens. Part of the reason De'Aaron is not getting a good look up top, they're switching and slipping everything. I just want to see some type of game plan that they are attacking and they are going to their strength, because right now they just look lost.
Yeah. Jerry, give me a key or two in this second half.
Well, one of the key, value the ball. Assist to turnover ratio will have a lot to do with who wins the game. And then maybe the last thing, put some pressure on the bigs for Phoenix. There's not shot blockers in there. Get in there and get to the line some. If you do that, got a great chance to win.
All right, folks, give us some final scores. What do you think the outcome of this game is going to be? I still think the Kings are going to come back and win this game because I just don't think they can shoot the ball as poorly as they did. Again, the Suns are very undermanned in this game. 9 points is nothing in a game of this magnitude at the half. We've seen it time and time again. I think the Kings figure out a way to win this game. So I think they're going to score. I think it's going to be close, but I got the Kings winning 112 to 110.
I'm actually going the opposite of you, Grant. The Kings have thrown the kitchen sink at Devin Booker, and the Suns have found a way still to be productive. Jerry pointed out Eric Gordon. I don't think the Kings have the run in them tonight. I think Devin Booker and Eric Gordon continue burning the Kings. Kings lose. Phoenix 122, Sacramento 109.
Wow. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah. I've got the Kings 114, 109.
All right, so you and I are right there.
Big second half, Rhino. Big second half.
All right. I'm with you, Jerry.
Just for we all love Jerry, but Jerry has the Kings going 82-0 this year.
Yeah, I do. I'm a hopeless front runner. I just am.
The score right now could be 80-35 Suns at the half, and Jerry would go, I think they got a run in them, and they're going to come back and they're going to win the game.
Granted, ever since we did that game in Chicago,
I know.
We came back from 35 down. I've seen it all, so I'll always figure out there's got to be a way. There's always a way.
That was truly in all the years that we worked together. I still, to this day, there are 2 things that stand out to me that Jerry and I witnessed that I still can't believe. The 35-point comeback in Chicago in the middle of the third quarter and the 37-point third quarter that we saw from Klay Thompson. Like, you could watch basketball every night for 50 years and you're never going to see that again. That was, to me, maybe the most amazing 12 minutes of basketball I've ever seen anyone in the league play.
I agree. I was in awe. And I was just, it was an honor to see it. I know we got a little criticism because we were kind of on the Klay bandwagon. Well, how could you not be? Your ultimate shooting greatness. You had to appreciate it. And,
I actually, to be honest with you, we haven't really discussed this. that was one of the biggest compliments that I think we received, and I know that I received in my broadcasting career when I heard from so many Warrior fans complimenting me on how I called the game. There are certain times when an individual performance takes precedent over the team that you're working for. Okay, because everyone sitting at home, whether they're a Kings fan or a Warriors fan or just a fan of basketball, is looking at a great, great achievement. It's like if you go watch your favorite team play in baseball and you go to the ballpark and the opposing pitcher ends up pitching, a perfect game, you're probably going to get on your feet and give him an ovation because you just saw history. So I felt great when I heard from Warrior fans saying, man, that was so professional of how you and Jerry called that quarter. You were giving props, you were into it. That meant the world to me. I mean, it would have been, Jerry, can you imagine how awful it would have been if you and I tried to downplay one of the great individual, maybe the best individual performance that this league's ever seen?
Yeah, I mean, I told a couple of fans, I said, one thing I want to apologize for. I really like the Kings and are for the Kings, but I love the game of basketball.
Yeah,
yes. I appreciate it when it's played at its best by whoever is playing at the best.
All right, let's get back to this game. So, Ryan, you're not as confident as Jerry. I'm just going with it because I still think that the absence of the firepower on the Suns will kind of show itself in the fourth quarter. But just keep in mind, when you look at the games, or I should say the teams that are coming in on this next homestand, you got the Bostons of the world, and you have Oklahoma City, and you've got some very difficult teams. This is a game without Durant, without Allen, without Beal, without so many guys. You got to figure out a way to win this game.
Yeah, and you get them 4 more times this year. So I hope you're right and they do go on that run, but this is one of those games that they've got to be able to win. But we've seen them play down to lower competition that we're missing more players like the Blazers. So who knows? I'm with you guys. I hope they win, but tough task.
All right, Jerry, enjoy the second half.
I hope I do. You guys
right.
Take care. Have a good post game. See you.
Thank you, buddy. Enjoy your weekend. Good stuff from Jerry. Elsewhere everyone's playing tonight with the exception of the teams that were in Vegas. And, Minnesota's going to win at Memphis, so they keep rolling along. Golden State, Oklahoma City, separated by 2 points with 3.5 left in the ball game there. Houston and Denver at the break, and the Rockets lead at Denver 52-48. Dallas is in Portland, and those are your Western Conference scores. So I guess we'll be back here in about an hour, buddy.
Yeah, hopefully we're talking about a win, but we'll definitely have something to talk about, good or bad.
And by the way, a little teaser, we're going to have some new merch available very soon in the Grant Napier store on my website. If you don't like that.com, grantnapier.com. We'll let you know when that's available, but new merch is coming very soon, just in time for the holidays.
Very excited about that.
All right, buddy. See you in an hour. Bye-bye.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody. Kings have some work to do, down 59-50 at the half.